Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to Final Trade. Let's have a talk about terrible products, doom and gloom, and the impending death of Magic. We've had three sets in a row now that have just kind of had lukewarm receptions, and I'd say it's actually gotten worse as we've gone through these three. First, we had Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, which had a really tough act to follow coming right after Modern Horizons 2, and it just wasn't well received at the start. I'd say people have warmed up to it a bit, and the prices kind of reflect that. But then we had Midnight Hunt, and again, not terribly well received, and maybe there's been a little warming to it so far. And then, of course, we had Crimson Vow, which right now is just a raging dumpster fire. You can get boxes of this on eBay and maybe TCG Player also at just about $80 shipped. And man, any poor retail store that's selling to you for $80 shipped over TCG Player or eBay, they're losing $4, $5, $6, $7 on every box after market fees and shipping. And so, for that to happen, the set just has to not be well received, and people just aren't shelling out the money for it, and the stores are trying to cut their losses and move on. So things look pretty terrible, right? But if you zoom out onto a longer timeline, then it doesn't look that bad. And this is something you'll experience over your investing life with stocks, especially, but also with these kind of collectibles. If you are looking too closely at emotional short term events, things can often look terrible. And if you follow the news every day and you try to make investment decisions based on what's happening in the world today, what's happening in this market today, what's happening with this product today, you'll make a lot more wrong moves than right moves. The reality is, Adventures in the Forgotten Realms is a really cool set. It's really neat. And for people who play Dungeons and Dragons like I do, there's so much flavor in this set. It's cool to just look at the cards. And long term, that's going to create value in the set. It's going to create a market for the sealed product in the future. Midnight Hunt and Crimson Vow, they're going to be standard legal for quite a while. What, something like 18 more months? And in that time, people will discover value in them that they haven't discovered now. Value in them will be created by synergy with cards that don't exist yet that will come into standard over the next year. And there will be a market for this. There will especially be a market for these boxes if it turns out that WotC cuts off printing early, doesn't do too many additional print runs, and the population is just low. In the future, this could age better than the other two if the population of it is kept low. And I kind of had this idea after talking with someone in the comments recently on a previous video that it seems to me that in every kind of small time period of the life cycle of Magic, WotC might have, let's say, 6 ideas. They have 6 kind of innovations of how they want to steer the game in a different direction, steer the products in a different direction, steer the collectability in a different direction. And when those 6 ideas get implemented, they get rolled out to the players, the collectors, the investors, and the market in general. Let's say 2 of those ideas are really well received, and 2 of them are absolute flops, and 2 of them are kind of somewhere in between. Maybe they're good ideas, but WotC failed to implement them really well and needs to kind of think about it a little better, maybe do a second iteration on it. And I think that we're kind of seeing that right now. This whole flashy era that probably started with Throne of Eldraine and collector boxes at that time. The flashiness was a bad idea. There was too much. You look at things like the enemy fetch lands in Modern Horizons 2. There's like 5 or 6 or 7 variations of those in that set. I can't even count how many variations there are because I don't understand the differences. And it just got too flashy. But they need to dial that back. So that's kind of one of those failed things. Collector boxes, that's kind of an in-between. They're a good product. People like them. The market is enjoying them. But WotC needs to just kind of iterate on it a few more times, figure out where exactly the right balance of cards in the box is, um, and just get that worked out. But something that's an innovation from that same kind of time period of this last 2.5 years is set booster boxes, and those have been a great innovation. Those are going to stay with us and move along into the future, maybe with some tweaks. But that was kind of a home run innovation that they made. And so I want you to see that there are things WotC does that work out great, things that work out terrible, things that kind of fall in between that they have to iterate on. But if all you do is zoom in on, oh, it's the flashy era and there's too many variations and some of them are worthless, stores won't even buy list some of them because it's so hard for players to even determine which one of these cards is which variation. Which one do I really want? Is it worth it to actually go after any of these? If you zoom in too much on the failure of the flashy variations, you'll lose sight of the fact that collector boxes work. They're a good product. They make high margins for WotC, and they're something that the secondary market enjoys and that people like. And you'll lose sight of the fact that set boxes are a great thing for the players, for collectors, for people who want to open boxes to get cards. Set boxes are much better than draft boxes. And so don't lose sight of those kind of things. When you zoom in too close on the failures, you miss the successes and you put too much weight on the failures in your mind. And so I will see this sentiment all the time that Magic is circling the drain, that long term there's no value, there's no collectability. Of course, my favorite, the easy money has been made, which is definitely not true. But I see this sentiment that everything's bad, it's all going to rot, and it's all over now because of these short-term decisions WotC has made. And as much as WotC is a giant monolithic company that takes forever to change course, they can change course. And any idea they have for improving the game, they can implement. They have the money, they have the design people, they have the capabilities. They can implement any idea they have. And they can go in any new direction and make the game better and better. And ultimately, Magic is the biggest card game in the world, and it's not going away. And so you can have this idea that things are bad, but on the long timeline, they're all going to work out. Magic's still going to be around 20 years from now. They're still going to be making new product. All of these products will age really well. They'll age as well as everything in the past, as well as sealed product has always aged. Some of them may stand out a little above the average. Some may lag the average a little bit, but it'll be fine. The future is going to work out. And, Magic the Gathering has always been circling the drain, and it'll be okay. So let me know what you think. Agree, disagree, something I missed, anything you want to hear a commentary on, let me know. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Join me on Final Trade. I'd love to have you. Thanks a lot.